Picture this. You're holding a steaming, beautiful bowl of instant oatmeal, maybe drizzled with a little honey. It's the exact breakfast every magazine, commercial, and well-meaning friend has told you is heart healthy. But what if I told you that inside your body, that specific bowl is responding almost exactly like a candy bar? I know that sounds impossible, but stay with me. If you've been eating a healthy bowl of oats every morning, yet your waistline is still expanding, your joints feel stiff, and your energy completely crashes by 10 a.m., you are likely making one of 7 silent preparation mistakes. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your morning oats are failing you. And more importantly, I'm going to give you my exact, scientifically sound blueprint for a blood sugar balancing, metabolism supporting bowl that actually keeps you full, energized, and on track with your weight goals. I'm Dr. Eris Thorne, a clinical nutritionist and functional medicine practitioner. In my clinic, the #1 breakfast I have to fix for my patients over 55 isn't a plate of greasy bacon and eggs, it's their daily bowl of oatmeal. I see this frustration every single day. You are trying your absolute best. You are making the responsible choice. You walk right past the pancakes and the pastries, and you choose the oats because you genuinely want to protect your health. And yet, the scale won't budge. Your doctor says your A1C is creeping up, and you're fighting terrible brain fog before lunchtime. It feels completely unfair, but it's not a lack of willpower, and it's certainly not your fault. The food industry has convinced us that all oatmeal is a metabolic superfood, completely ignoring the fact that how you process and prep those oats changes everything about how your body digests them. Before we dive into the first major fix, I want to ask you a quick question. Let me know down in the comments right now. Are you currently eating instant packets in the morning, or are you cooking your oats from scratch? There's no judgment here. I just want to know where we are starting from. Let's start with the most common trap of them all. Fix #1 is understanding the pulverized oat problem. When you are standing in the cereal aisle, rushing to get your shopping done, it is so tempting to grab those colorful boxes of instant oatmeal. They promise a hot, nutritious meal in just 60 seconds. But to make an oat cook in under a minute, then the factory has to absolutely pulverize it. They steam it, roll it paper thin, and dry it out until it's practically dust. From a biological standpoint, they have destroyed the natural, intact fiber structure of the grain. To understand why this matters, we have to look at the glycemic index, which measures how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. Traditional, thick-cut, steel-cut oats sit beautifully at a low glycemic index of around 55. Your digestive system has to work hard to break them down, meaning glucose enters your bloodstream as a slow, steady trickle. Instant oats, on the other hand, have a glycemic index that shoots up into the 80s. Because the factory already did the digesting for you, that carbohydrate gets absorbed into your bloodstream almost instantly. Your blood sugar rockets upward, your pancreas is forced to pump out a massive surge of insulin to bring it down, and an hour later, you are exhausted and craving a snack. Let me tell you about Elena, a 58-year-old teacher from Columbus, Ohio. Elena came to my office deeply frustrated. She was trying to shed some stubborn belly fat and was eating instant maple oatmeal every single morning before heading to her classroom. But by second period, she was so hungry she couldn't concentrate. When I explained this glycemic response to her, we completely ditched the instant packets. We switched her to whole, rolled oats. Just by changing the physical structure of the oat she was eating, without even changing her calorie count, her mid-morning hunger vanished, her energy stabilized, and her weight finally started to shift. The rule here is simple. If it comes in a paper packet and cooks in a minute, put it back on the shelf. You need traditional rolled oats, or better yet, steel-cut oats. But even if you buy the right kind of oats, you might be making mistake #2. I call this the mush factor. So many of my patients buy beautiful, high-quality traditional oats, and then they go home and boil them on the stove for 20 minutes until they turn into a thick, gummy, wallpaper paste. They assume that if it's hot and soft, it's ready to eat. But overcooking your oats is secretly sabotaging your blood sugar. Here is the physiological reality of what happens when you overcook a grain. The prolonged exposure to high heat and boiling water physically breaks down the starch granules and the beta-glucan fiber matrix inside the oat. The more you cook it, the more you dismantle that complex structure. When you eat this completely broken down paste, it requires almost no mechanical digestion in your stomach. This leads to a process known as rapid gastric emptying. The food empties from your stomach into your small intestine too quickly, and the carbohydrates are absorbed entirely too fast. Instead of acting like a slow-release energy capsule, your overcooked mush triggers the exact same glucose spike and insulin crash that the instant packets do. You are taking a low glycemic superfood and literally boiling it into a high glycemic sugar load. The fix here is surprisingly simple. You need to cook with care, not aggression. If you are using whole rolled oats, gently simmer them for just 5 to 7 minutes. You want the oats to be tender and warm, but they absolutely must retain their individual shape. You should have to gently chew them. If you can swallow your oatmeal without chewing, you have cooked it too long, and your blood sugar is going to pay the price. Now, even if you buy traditional rolled oats and cook them perfectly, you might still feel heavy and uncomfortably full afterward. That brings us to fix number 3, the gut health soak. This is a step almost everyone skips, but it is an absolute game changer for your digestion. Like many grains, oats contain natural defensive compounds that can be tough on the human digestive tract. For many people, eating unsoaked oats feels like swallowing a brick. It sits in the stomach, ferments, and causes painful morning bloating. But there is an elegant biological workaround. When you soak your oats, you activate a naturally occurring enzyme called phytase. This enzyme essentially pre-digests the tough outer structures of the grain, unlocking the nutrients and making the oats dramatically easier on your gastrointestinal tract. I recently worked with Linda, a 62-year-old from Naples, Florida. Linda loved the idea of eating oatmeal for her cholesterol, but she had stopped making it entirely because she would spend the rest of her morning feeling painfully bloated. I asked her to try the overnight gut health soak. She simply placed her dry oats in a bowl with water and a tiny splash of lemon juice before bed. In the morning, she drained the water, gave them a quick rinse, and cooked them as usual. Within 2 days, Linda's morning bloating completely disappeared. Her gut was finally able to process the fiber without the inflammatory struggle. But even with perfectly digestible oats, we have to address fix number 4, the portion illusion. This mistake comes from a dangerous piece of logic that trips up so many well-intentioned people. The logic goes like this: if something is healthy and good for my heart, then eating a massive bowl of it must be even better. I have watched patients pour 2 full cups of dry oats into a bowl, assuming they are doing their body a massive favor. But healthy does not mean unlimited. Oats are incredibly energy-dense, complex carbohydrates. When you consume a portion that is too large for your current metabolic needs, your body simply cannot use all that energy at once. Even with the best fiber in the world, a massive portion will overwhelm your system, provoke a blood sugar spike, spike, and cause your body to store the excess energy as fat. If you want to lose weight or protect your metabolism, you have to measure. A proper portion of dry oats for an average adult is between 1/3 and 1/2 of a measuring cup. I know it looks like a tiny amount when it is dry, but remember, oats nearly triple in volume when they absorb liquid. And if you are worried that half a cup won't fill you up, you are probably making the next major mistake. Before we cover what I consider to be the most critical fix of all, I want to hear from you. Everyone has a different preference when it comes to breakfast. Which do you prefer, sweet oats with fruit or savory oats with an egg on top? Let me know in the comments below. That brings us to fix number 5, the naked carb trap. You can buy the best steel-cut oats, soak them perfectly, and measure your portion down to the gram. But if you sit at your kitchen table and eat a bowl of plain oatmeal cooked in water with nothing else added to it, you are setting yourself up for a metabolic disaster. A bowl of plain oats is essentially 100% carbohydrate. When you eat carbohydrates alone, what we call naked carbs, there is nothing to slow down the digestive process. We now have incredible data from continuous glucose monitors, or CGMs, which are small devices that track blood sugar in real time. When you look at a CGM graph after someone eats a naked bowl of oats, you see a steep, sharp mountain peak. Your blood sugar rockets up and then it plummets. That sudden crash is exactly why you feel ravenously hungry, irritable, and completely exhausted just 2 hours after eating. Your brain senses the dropping glucose and sends out an emergency signal demanding quick energy, usually in the form of pastries or snacks. I saw this exactly with Marcus, a retired engineer living in Boulder, Colorado. Marcus was actually wearing a CGM to keep an eye on his prediabetes. He came into my clinic completely baffled. He couldn't understand why his perfect plain oatmeal was spiking him into the danger zone every single morning, leaving him with terrible brain fog by 10 a.m. I told Marcus he was falling into the naked carb trap. To fix it, you have to pair your carbohydrates with high-quality protein and healthy fats. Protein and fat act like a biological speed bump in your digestive tract. They significantly slow down gastric emptying, meaning the glucose from the oats enters your bloodstream at a slow, manageable pace. For Marcus, we simply added a generous scoop of thick Greek yogurt for protein and a handful of crushed walnuts for healthy fat. The transformation was immediate. His CGM graph went from a dangerous, jagged peak to a smooth, gentle rolling hill. And that 10 a.m. brain fog, it vanished completely. But even if you build that perfect balance of complex carbohydrates, protein, and fat, there is one final trap that can undo all of your hard work in a matter of seconds. This brings us to fix number 6, the natural sugar deception. This is honestly the mistake that breaks my heart the most, because my patients do it with the absolute best of intentions. They sit in my office and tell me they never use white sugar in their oatmeal. Instead, they proudly explain that they use a generous drizzle of organic honey, pure maple syrup, or agave nectar, assuming that because these sweeteners come from a bee or a tree, they are somehow biologically different or healthy. I need to be very direct with you here, because I care about your metabolism more than I care about food marketing. At the cellular and hormonal level, sugar is sugar. Your pancreas does not read the organic label on your bottle of honey. Your insulin receptors do not care that your maple syrup was tapped from a tree in Vermont. They only see a flood of simple glucose and fructose entering your bloodstream, and they react exactly the same way they would to a spoonful of table sugar. When you pour honey over your carefully prepared oats, you are essentially pressing the brake pedal and the gas pedal in your body at the exact same time. Your high-quality fiber and protein are trying to slow down your digestion and act as a brake, while the liquid sugar is flooring the gas pedal, provoking the very insulin spike you were trying to prevent. It promotes systemic inflammation, it signals your body to store fat around your midsection, and it triggers those uncontrollable mid-morning cravings. The solution here is to re-educate your taste buds, and the good news is that your palate adapts remarkably fast. You have a whole arsenal of intelligent, delicious ingredients that provide sweetness without the metabolic damage. My absolute favorite tool for this is Ceylon cinnamon. Not only does it send a sweet signal to your brain, but Ceylon cinnamon actually contains bioactive compounds that help your cells use glucose more efficiently. It literally improves your insulin sensitivity while you eat. You should also be utilizing berries, specifically raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. They are naturally much lower in sugar than a banana, they are packed with extra fiber, and their deep colors mean they are loaded with antioxidants that fight cellular aging. Now that we have stripped away all the mistakes, it is time to build. This is fix number 7, the ultimate metabolic bowl. I want to give you the exact step-by-step formula that I use in my clinic to completely transform how my patients experience breakfast. I want you to visualize this bowl as you put it together. You start with your base. You are going to measure out 1/3 to 1/2 cup of dry, traditional rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Remember, no instant packets. You will have soaked these oats overnight in a little water with a splash of lemon juice to unlock those digestive enzymes. In the morning, you drain them, rinse them, and simmer them gently on the stove for just 5 to 7 minutes. You want them warm and tender, but they must still hold their shape, so your stomach actually has to do the work of digesting them. Next, you build your protein anchor. This is non-negotiable if you want to protect your muscle mass as you age and stay full until lunch. Stir in a generous scoop, about 1/3 of a cup, of plain, thick Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. The creaminess blends beautifully with the warm oats. If you prefer, you can use a scoop of clean, high-quality protein powder, or if you want to go the savory route, top your bowl with 2 perfectly poached eggs. Your goal is 15 to 20 grams of protein. Then, you add your fat buffer. This is what provides lasting satiety and helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins. Add a small handful of crushed walnuts or pecans, a tablespoon of chia seeds, or a spoonful of natural, unsweetened almond butter. Finally, you finish with your flavor and antioxidant layer. Add a heavy dash of Ceylon cinnamon and a 1/2 cup of fresh or frozen berries. When you sit down to eat this ultimate metabolic bowl, you are no longer eating a naked carbohydrate that is going to spike your blood sugar and leave you exhausted. You are eating a scientifically balanced, nutrient-dense meal that will carry you through your entire morning with steady, unwavering energy, sharp mental focus, and absolutely zero cravings. Breakfast sets the metabolic tone for your entire day. You do not have to suffer through morning brain fog. You do not have to feel bloated, and you certainly do not have to accept weight gain as just a normal part of getting older. Your body is not failing you, it is simply reacting to the biological information you are feeding it. When you change the information, you change the result. I want you to take action on this today. I want you to leave a comment down below right now so I know what step you are taking. Comment the words metabolic bowl if you are going to try this exact recipe tomorrow morning. Comment ditching packets if you are finally throwing out those instant oats today. And comment sending this if you are going to share this video with a friend or spouse who eats instant oatmeal every single day. If this information helped you make sense of your health, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and save this video so you can refer back to the recipe. But your day doesn't stop at breakfast. Now that your morning is fixed, you need to make sure you don't undo it all a few hours later. Click the video on your screen right now to discover the 3 biggest lunch mistakes that are secretly destroying your afternoon energy. I'm Dr. Eris Thorne, and I will see you over in that next video.